Marysville, Kansas is a city in the county seat of Marshall County, Kansas. As of the 2010 census, the city population was 3,294. In 1851, Francis J. Marshall of Weston, Missouri, arrived on the bank of the Big Blue River. He came here to establish a trading post and to operate a ferry. On November 11, 1854, Marshall opened the first civilian post office in the territory of Kansas. Marshall lent his name to the county, and Marysville, Kansas was named to honor his wife, Mary. Mr. Marshall charged up to $5 per wagon and 25 cents per head of livestock to use his rope-powered ferry across the Big Blue River, which operated until replaced by a bridge in 1864. He was a pro-slavery candidate for governor in 1857. Marysville is located on the Oregon Trail and the route of the Pony Express, the St. Joe Road, the Overland Stage, the Military Road, and the Odo Trail. British explorer Richard Francis Burton, en route to California in 1860, noted, "Passing by Marysville, in old maps Palmetto City, a country town which thrives by selling whiskey to ruffians of all descriptions." The old Pony Express station still stands in downtown Marysville. Marysville owes much of its prosperity to the Union Pacific Railroad. The railroad has been a major employer in the town for nearly 100 years. Over 60 trains pass through the town daily, and the railroad recently completed an underpass which redirects the tracks below US 36, rather than crossing the highway and backing up traffic. Marysville is also known as the Black Squirrel City due to an isolated community of all black squirrels that make their homes in the town. The squirrels are said to be the result of escapees from a traveling circus. Marysville is the proud home of the black squirrel. Today, signs welcome visitors to Marysville, Kansas, Black Squirrel City. In 1972, the black squirrel was formally designated as the Marysville City mascot and was given special rights and privileges inherent to the such designation, including the freedom to trespass on all city property, immunity from traffic regulations, and the right of first choice to all black walnuts growing within the city. It was also given the right of way on all streets, alleys, and railroad crossings, and given its own special day of community celebration, which is Thursday, October 23rd. Black Squirrel Night is held annually before Halloween and features safe trick-or-treating, entertainment, hayrack rides, contests, food stands, and information booths. The evening concludes with a costume contest, including a visit by a giant costume black squirrel. Enter the only home station on the Pony Express route still remaining on the original site. The 1859 barn is built of limestone that was hauled by oxen from south of Marysville. Vent holes for horses are still in the building, where antique wagons, a blacksmith shop, and more are displayed. In the museum annex, which is also built of limestone, you'll find Pony Express memorabilia and a variety of other items. The mezzanine depicts the beginning of the Pony Express to its demise when the telegraph came into existence. See a replica of an original stagecoach, a mochila, a popcorn wagon, and Marysville's first post office. The annual re-ride of the Pony Express is held during the month of June and travels from St. Joe, Missouri to Sacramento, California, and vice versa the next year.
The historic Marshall County Courthouse is now a museum and research library. After serving as Marshall County's courthouse for nearly 90 years, this fine old building has an unusual 8-sided tower and decorative terracotta panels bearing the word justice. Inside are tiled floors, iron and slate stairways, stained glass windows, and original oak furnishings. The museum has 21 rooms of county history displays, including farming and blacksmithing tools, a Kansas license plate collection, wedding dresses, newspaper printing display, a trails room with a ferry replica, a war room with memorabilia from the Civil War forward, a doctor's office with an iron lung, and more. In the impressive courtroom, each spectator's seat has a wire hat holder under it. The library has census, marriage and naturalization records, county newspapers on microfilm, histories of county towns and churches, and database of county burials.
57 years later, in 1911, with the completion of the long-awaited Topeka Cutoff, Marysville's railroad dreams began to come true. The first freight passed through town from Kansas City headed to the West Coast. In April 1917, following successful negotiations between the city and the Union Pacific Railroad, Marysville was named a division point and on July 1, 1918, became the Central Division's headquarters. Marysville remained the Central Division headquarters until January 1933, when the headquarters was shifted to Kansas City. Many special trains have rolled through Marysville. In 1912, engine number 1729 pulled Buffalo Bill's Wild West show into town. 2 U.S. presidents have come through Marysville by train, President Theodore Roosevelt in 1912 and President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1943. John Philip Sousa's band also passed through town in 1928. The Kester House Museum, nestled in the heart of downtown, is an excellent place to take a look at life in Marysville before the turn of the century. If the walls of this white-frame Victorian house could talk, they surely would tell of the early Marysville banking family who built the home. The handsome couple who moved in as newlyweds and had 3 children before the wife was struck down by consumption at the age of 35, leaving her husband, small son, and 2 daughters. Still luxuriously furnished with the Kester belongings, including family portraits, clothing, toys, and books, furniture, and household items, the house is a rare gem. Completed in 1876, renovated carefully since the 1970s, and opened to the public through the generosity of the Kester heirs, who made it a gift to the city of Marysville. Surrounded by a brick wall with cast iron lions and dogs guarding its gates, the grounds of the house are nearly as interesting as the interior. A summer kitchen, ice house, carriage house, and statuary make a stroll through this family's yard an experience to remember. A rare collection of white bronze sculptures, which the owner acquired to enhance his yard and gardens, has been restored and is on display in the museum yard. The cast iron lions and dogs at the gates were noted by Laura Ingalls Wilder in On Our Way Home, a diary of her family's journey in 1894 from South Dakota to Missouri. These statues have also been restored, along with cast iron urns, yard furniture, and a fountain. The Kester family came to America in 1850 from Germany. Charles F. Kester arrived in Marysville in 1860. He engaged in business and was recorder and treasurer of Marshall County. He joined his brother-in-law in the bank, which became the Exchange Bank of Smith and Kester. Over 50 years ago, Don Landau and his partner of 3 years purchased Quick Service Welding, which eventually became Landau Corporation. Since then, Landau has grown to be a leader in innovative design, world-class manufacturing, and marketing of quality products and services for the agriculture, transportation, material handling, OEM, and government industries. Since 1963, the Landau entrepreneurial spirit and business principles, including diversification, vertical integration, and customer satisfaction, have led to substantial growth. Landau Corporation has shared its success with the community by being good stewards to the area community, renovating and putting into operation several vacated properties. Landau led the revamp of now completed Catholic school and playground, airport, library park, and a reading garden at the elementary school. Landau Corporation was the largest donor while leading fundraiser efforts for the area's new hospital and is now beginning work on a Catholic church. Landau Corporation is proud to be one of Kansas's homegrown industries. As immigrants headed west on the Oregon Trail, they crossed the Big Blue River at Independence Crossing. Many times the river was too swollen to cross, so the travelers had to wait a few days to make the crossing safer. Near the crossing, the immigrants discovered one of the most beautiful and serene sights along the Oregon Trail, Alcove Spring. The spring flows from the side of the alcove into the basin below the falls. Water from a wet weather creek flows over a rocky outcrop and falls 10 to 12 feet into the same pool. Alcove Spring got its name in 1846 when the Donner Reed Party was forced to wait for the Big Blue River to go down from May 26 to May 31st. One of the members of the party, Edwin Bryant, found and named the Alcove Spring site. Alcove Spring and JFR 26 May 1846 were engraved in a rock at the top of the falls. They are still visible today. The group was saddened on May 29th by the death of Sarah H. Keyes, the mother-in-law of the party co-leader, James F. Reed. Over the years, the original gravesite has been lost, but in 1950, the Arthur Barrett chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution dedicated a monument at Alcove Spring in her honor. Because of the 5-day delay at the Big Blue River and poor judgment in attempting an untried route across the Great Salt Desert, the Donner Reed Party reached the Sierra Pass too late. Blocked by snow, the immigrants were stranded. Of the 81 stranded, only 45 survived.